All right, guys, here it is. I've been talking about this for almost a year now. Bijay Shahi. I interviewed him. I happened to be in Nepal, and no, I did not fly out there for the sole purpose of interviewing him. I was actually there climbing Everest for 7 weeks, and it just so happened that my flight was delayed. I had a lot of time. We had the resources to meet each other even through a pandemic and lockdown, and he kept messaging me on Facebook saying, when can we meet? When can we do this interview? I never for the life of me thought that he would reply. After I saw the last set of videos of him being ousted, being discovered, seen as a fraud, I thought that was it. I thought it was a done deal. Why would he want to be interviewed by me? I'm going to make him look like a fool. So his eagerness, I had the time, let's do it. I did offer it. BJ, I invite you to my channel. Let's do an interview. The videos that he put out, the interviews that he's done, the demonstrations that he's done have deserved a lot of the criticism that I and much of Nepal and the world have given him. I do think it's his fault that people have given him that criticism because he hasn't explained much. He hasn't shown much of what he does, and people don't like that. I don't like that. I'm a very logical, reasonable person, and if somebody does something that seems out of the ordinary, you need to give me more. You need to explain more. Otherwise, people are going to discredit you and say that you're a phony. So that's where we are. He was persistent. And again, I decided to meet with him. So the way this worked, I was on Everest for 7 weeks. He kept texting me on Facebook. I thought it was someone else. I've been reached out by so many people claiming to be Bijay Shahi, saying they want to talk to me, whatever. And all of them have been fake. So I was very cautious, but this seemed to be the real guy. But he said, hey, when are you done with the mountain? Let's meet. And I said, listen, I don't know if I'll have time. I'm flying home to my family immediately. I've been on the mountain long enough, so I don't know if this is going to happen. But there was a lockdown in Nepal and Kathmandu. There were no flights going out, so I was actually in Kathmandu for a week. And even though there was lockdown, he was able to secure the government officials to help us see each other across town, which was very impressive. He went through great lengths to see me or to make sure that our interview happened. Why? Well, I would assume he wants to use my platform to get something straight. He had something to show me, to tell me that might change my mind or anybody else's mind who watches my channel, or all of Nepal rather, because at this point I think people have put him out, and that's fine. Like I said, totally justified, or mostly justified in my eyes. But hey, I'm a nice guy. I'm an open guy. I want to give people a shot. Maybe I'm wrong. This is what I offered in the beginning, is prove me wrong. So he invited me to his office. He had a you'll see him in the video. There was a guy with him who was basically his manager, maybe. It's hard to, there's a lot of things lost in translation, but he helped kind of translate things, and I think he was teaching him English as well. And then there was also a government official who was driving us around, making sure that we could get around safely and legally despite the lockdown. And what you're about to see is the 1.5-hour interview that we had. I'm gonna probably speed up certain sections or leave stuff out just for the sake of this video, but I will link the full, entire, uncut video in the description so you can watch if you really want to sit there for an 1.5 hours and scrutinize every little thing that happened in the video. I tried my best to cover every angle, to cover every sound, and not cut anything so that you could see what you see. And my goal of this video is not to convince you of anything new, not to change your mind. I'm just presenting what happened to me when I went to visit Bijay Shahi, and you guys can decide for yourself. I'll give you a little bit of what I think at the end and through this video, but ultimately I'm not putting anything in anybody's mind. Definitively, that is up to you. If you want to hate him, hate him. If you want to give him a chance, give him a chance. If you need more from him to decide, then that's the way it is. Oh, one more thing. Since this is about memory techniques and learnable techniques versus innate gifts for memorization, let's talk about my memory course, which is available for the next few days only for this cohort. I'm opening it up until the end of the week, and you can sign up for the course, be a part of this cohort, and actually learn the techniques that will help you do some of the things or all of the things that memory champions can do. If you're watching this later and the course is closed, you can always register for the course so that you get notified on a wait list when I reopen the course, and you can join then. Back to the video.
Wait, I need a book.
Well, first, let's just talk first. So first thing that happened, we got into this office. It was very empty. It was basically had 2 chairs and a desk. Nothing was in the room. I was very vigilant looking for cameras or, recording devices. There was nothing. Literally an empty building. And he was keen to dive right in to memorizing a book. I think that's what he had in his mind that I was going to ask him to do. I had other things in mind, but I wanted to get to know him first. And one thing I should note is that his English is not very good. I don't think his English was horrible, but you'll notice that there is some miscommunication or struggling with understanding what I'm saying, and he defers to his manager to help translate things. This isn't about his English, this is about his memory, okay? So if any of you are out there gonna bash his English, shame on you. I mean, who cares? Granted, he could memorize how to learn English, and I would imagine he's gonna work on his English, but at this point in time, his English was not that great. And don't give him a hard time for it. My Nepalese sucks, is non-existent actually. So there you have it. For those that don't know, this is Bijay Shahi from Nepal, the Memory King. I've talked about him a lot on my YouTube channels, and I'm in Nepal, and he wanted to meet me. I asked him for an interview, and here he is. So we're gonna talk to him, test him, and see what he's about, try to understand him a little more, and see what his skills are like. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, how old are you?
I am 20 years old.
20 years old. And where are you from?
I am from Kalikut.
Okay, this is the west of Nepal.
Very poor. I was born very poor into a poor part of Nepal.
Poor small village.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you start to memorize?
Look,
When did you realize you had good memory?
excuse me. I want to explain about this. Everything is based on divine power.
Okay. This was kind of the first weird, real instance that feels off to me, but as you'll see later, maybe makes sense for this culture or people from this area of the world who believe in certain religions. Okay, let's keep it at that. He's about to tell me that the gift that Bijay has is a divine power, meaning he was born with it, meaning it's something that God chose specifically for Bijay, no one else. To me, that seems like a very easy way to just brush things under the rug, right? How can you do this? Well, God made me that way. Okay. What we'll find out later is that he did work on this. He did realize that he had a gift and that he practiced a lot and that he actually uses techniques as well. I don't quite know what that means. We'll see later, but he has a divine power. I, as a USA Memory Champion, do not.
With the blessing of Goddess Kalita Devi, he got this power.
So you're saying he was born with this power?
That's divine power.
A divine power.
Divine power. Goddess.
In technique point.
Okay.
In technique.
Okay.
So
me, no divine power?
no, which
Because I was not born with it.
he has been selected out of 2.8 billion people of the earth
Yeah.
by the goddess. I didn't get, he didn't get. So many people. So this is God gift. So first of all, this Nepal is the place of God and goddess.
You can start seeing that I'm a bit annoyed by this. This is not what I want to hear. Anyways, I'm going to skip a bit here because we're here to look at Bijay, not his sidekick. When did you realize
कति वर्ष?
कति वर्ष भयो?
2 वर्ष है?
2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
2 years old.
It can takes about 20 minutes for me to read the books.
Okay.
And 130 minutes to memorize the books.
Okay. So what he's saying here, to read any book or memorize any book takes him 20 minutes. Whether it's page, 10 pages, 1,000 pages, 20 minutes. And then 1 hour and 30 minutes to, he says memorize, but I think what he means is to recall the information that he's trying to get out. Interesting. Doesn't make sense to me, right? If you have 1 page, 10 pages, 1,000 pages, there's more and more information on each of those sizes of pages. So how can it be the exact same time? That doesn't make any sense from a mathematical physics perspective, right? But this is what he's saying. Okay. At 2 years old?
2 years.
2 years, okay. In Nepalese?
Nepalese.
Only Nepalese, yeah. Okay.
Debate for I have practiced very hard, right? And invented a technique and also divine power.
Okay, so you mix the two together. Divine power and a technique.
And I meditate long time. I study 18 hours per day.
Okay.
अनि कति दिन गरेको त पद्मासन?
1 महिना 14 दिन.
Okay, he did Padmasan. Padmasan.
Yoga.
Yoga. Yeah.
Padmasan.
No, it's
One
Padmasan.
very difficult asana. It's called Padmasan.
Okay.
This is the asana of God and goddess.
Okay.
Yes.
1 महिना 14 दिनसम्म.
It's very
1
difficult.
month, 15 days.
14 days.
14 days continually did. Up to 6 days he understand. Otherwise
1.5 months.
1.5 months. It's impossible. That is why he got the gift of God.
Would you like
Blessing
to
of
try
God.
same asana?
No, I can't do that. I don't bend that way. Okay.
So this is the thing.
So he's saying, he meditates a long time. From 2 years old, he was practicing this divine power. He invented his own memory techniques that, I guess, sit on top of this divine power and help enhance or control this power that he's been given, right? He makes a big point throughout this conversation that meditation and yoga, or what I understand to be yoga, as a very integral part of the whole process. You can see here, I'm like, what the hell is going on? All right, so let's can we try? Can you close the door? Yeah. Can I give you a book?
Yeah.
Okay, try. Yeah. Please don't rip the page.
Okay.
I know you go fast.
Okay.
So I had a book that I had just bought before my Everest expedition, not with the intention to show it to him, but for me to read. It was a book about Everest. I actually have it over here. I'll get it in a moment. But I thought, okay, it was just published. It's in English. There's no way, no bookstores are open in Kathmandu at the moment because they're in lockdown. There's no way he could have seen this book or gotten this book. So it seemed like a great book to use. So I'm about to get that. Now, I think he's at this point expecting to memorize the whole book like he has in all his videos. But first of all, I don't have the time. I was very strapped for time this day. But I also wanted to just start simple, right? I mean, if he can do a full book, then he should be able to do a single page. And a single page is pretty tough, right? I mean, you could take your time and memorize it. Anybody could do that. But to do it fast is very hard, word for word, right? It's still, a bunch of words, a lot of text, and in English, right? Notice how bad his English is. Like, imagine to memorize something in a language that you're basic at, very basic. That's got to be tough. So I choose a random page, give it to him, and let him go. So this is a book that I just read. It just came out in English.
Yeah.
So how does this work? I give it to you?
Yeah. Again.
And then what? You
It
look at the book?
can take about 20 minutes. Read the book, right?
Okay.
To memorize 130 to memorize the book. To read,
Well, that means, within 20 minutes he will read and he will read on this book.
Yeah.
Then he memorizes 1 hour. कति 1 घन्टा?
1.5 hours.
1.5 hours.
You will memorize that.
You memorize the whole book.
Okay.
And later on, then you can ask after.
Chair.
Thank you.
Chair.
Chair there, yeah. Open the
So I don't want to take a whole hour or 20 minutes. So maybe I could choose
20 minutes for
5 pages.
the read of book.
whole book.
Okay.
Whole book.
Why don't we start with just one page?
One fish.
Just one page. I choose one page.
One page.
One page or one paragraph, I think.
One page. The 25 minutes memorize. One page. Okay.
No. One page as fast as you can do it.
One face. Okay.
Yeah, just to save time. Is that okay? One page.
Okay. One page.
Okay. This is simple. Simple
That's
survey.
okay. We start simple.
Simple survey.
That's okay. It's still very impressive. For me, if I look at one page, it takes me maybe an hour.
One fish technique.
All right, so a few things here to catch up on. He wanted to memorize the entire book in 20 minutes, meaning looking through it in 20 minutes, using his divine power, and then an hour and a half to recall. I wasn't clear if he'd have to spend an hour and a half just thinking about the book, or if after the memorization, I'd say, hey, page 25, and he needed an hour and a half to extract it, right? But either way, I said, listen, I'm not interested. Let's do one page to start. Okay, I'll choose one page at random. You do it as fast as you can. Okay, and what he was saying, I think, is he was just going to read through the page and then take about 20 to 30 minutes to recall it, to get it out. Okay, but what's interesting is he said technique, meaning he's going to do this with technique, which I was never given a clear answer as to what the difference is between when he's doing it divinely, with his divine power, or with his technique. I was actually never told what the technique is, unfortunately, even though I asked. But whatever, let's watch him. He's at this point going to ask me to basically frisk him to make sure that he has no devices, no cell phone, no recording devices. He takes off his jacket. I pat him down. Granted, I didn't want to be too invasive, but I will tell you that there was nothing in this room. Nothing. Okay? The two gentlemen there were in the room, but there was no communication, nothing that... Listen, I'm not an idiot. Sure, I can be deceived by a magician or an illusionist, sure. But I was very aware of where I was, and to the best of my knowledge, okay? And I've seen a lot of memory hoaxes and shams. I know what to look for. So I was very aware of what was going on. There was nothing on him. His cell phone was off, and he gives it to me, and it's by my side. So there's really nothing that could have been communicated. I think it would have been very difficult. Very, very difficult. So you'll see.
Shuruma, you can check my whole body.
Whole body, check out.
Take my photo. Take my mobile.
Put your mobile there.
I have.
Take your jacket off.
Good. Yeah. Because nobody should doubt.
I agree.
Check it. Quiet everything.
In your pockets, nothing?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Okay, back side.
Backside.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay, sit here.
So then one page is very good. Okay.
Just one page.
Sample.
Okay, so this page 269 here.
Action. Wait.
So what is he doing?
There is a divine process.
Okay.
Divine process.
Divine process. And Kali. Mata.
Okay.
Goddess Kali.
No magic.
Okay.
Kali Mata. Action. यो लग्दा हुन्छ यो बाहिर आउनुहोस् अब यो पर्दैन
आफ्नो नजाऊ
म जाने बाहिर
That's okay. That's not going to give you an answer.
बाहिर
He's never seen this book before. It's just printed. I'm choosing a random page, honestly. Yeah. Okay?
Okay.
This page, pretty good. Yeah.
एक page मात्र. You look tiny.
268
Sure. Yeah, you could do
like
that.
269
Yeah, this one, 269.
with a bottle एकछिन है with a bottle in his hands when he felt the mountain shift underneath him the wall
So now he's reading the page. I didn't expect him to do this. I was expecting him to do his crazy screaming that he does, the talking in tongues, but maybe this is part of the technique method, but he's reading the words on the page. And you can notice that he's not saying the words perfectly, but he's basically just reading it once through. There's no repeat or review, and it's in a language that he doesn't really know. So this is impressive if this is going to work.
Open door after rolling about 100 feet. The retained coach on a bolter surmounting the second step according to Iron Monza account of
Okay.
यो भनेको टेक्निक हो भन्नु न यो चाहिँ टेक्निक भन्नु न अर्को चाहिँ डिभाइन पावरमा चाहिँ पिटिटी हुन्छ यो चाहिँ टेक्निक हो भन्नु त
कसरी टेक्निक
यो चाहिँ टेक्निकको माध्यमबाट गए एक पेज मात्र टेक्निक
दिस इज ओन्ली
Also, English is
whole book is different.
A book चाहिँ बुटुटु हुन्छ
So at this point, this is super interesting to me because he's saying here that this is technique. Now, all he did was read out loud, which means as he's saying the word and moving on to the next one, he's processing the information and remembering it, memorizing it, storing it, whatever his process is. I don't know what that little outburst was at the end. Maybe it's part of the process, God speaking to him. I don't know. Seems unnecessary. Seems like if I did that suddenly when I was memorizing, it wouldn't help me at all. But what's interesting here is he's just talking, right? So it's not even that he needs to suddenly review. Oftentimes when I memorize something really fast, I need a moment. I put the information away, but I need a moment to consolidate everything that I just stored really quickly. He's not doing that here, which is pretty impressive. Sometimes during my memorization, if I do the consolidation while memorizing, which can happen a bit slower, I can do what he's doing, start talking normally. If you've seen me memorize a deck of cards on Chris Ramsey's channel, he was impressed that I could keep talking about it before I actually recalled it. And that's kind of similar here, although I don't know how you read something live once through and then immediately start to talk, right, without consolidating. It would be slipping away. And again, the information is in the book. His manager doesn't have it. You know, I read the book, but I don't have it. The guy out the corner there, the government official, doesn't have it. And he just read through it once and it's in his head, right? That's what he's claiming. Just like that, it's all in there. That seems a bit of a stretch for me, but let's see what happens.
If you give this book, his pronunciation, divine power is different.
Okay.
So this is the only technique.
Got it. Okay.
Otherwise, if he read through divine power,
It's faster.
Yeah.
different
Technique.
formula.
This is the formula.
अब लेख्ने
This whole book, you will finish within 20 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Let's start with this page. So they're just explaining here that if he had used his divine power, this is where he would have been a lot faster. He would have done the whole screaming and shouting thing. But here he was using his formula, his divine power. I don't know why he just didn't use the divine power. If he could do it faster, doesn't make sense to me. But maybe it's like, if we're going to give him a little bit of credit here in his universe of religious abilities, that maybe, you know, it's a power that you can't always use, or there's, you know, you don't want to call on your God to provide this power too often. I don't know. That still sounds absolutely absurd to me, but whatever. The point we're looking for here is, can he memorize what he says he can memorize? And is it impressive? And do we believe him, right? However he wants to explain it, in the end, fine. I guess, what can we do? But I want to know if what he's doing is actually real or if it's fake. Can I see the phone?
Phone?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you turn it off?
No charge.
It's off. It's off. Yeah. Okay. Just so that you're not recording.
यो पनि
Told me.
Yes.
Okay. So now.
Checking.
No. I did it again. Yeah. Pockets. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. Okay.
अब
So now what?
memorize 30 minutes.
Here's.
It's
So you go over it in your head.
Over here.
So now is where he's, I guess, going through his information, consolidating it, speaking in tongues, whatever this is, to communicate with his God. I don't know. This religious stuff really doesn't sit straight with me. But again, I'll address that later. But this is what he's doing. I'm being as respectful as possible just to let him do his thing. And just to remind you, no one else has seen the page that I showed him. So, if the guys on the side were trying to relay information through blinking or gestures or whatever, it would have been impossible. Nobody had this book. Nobody knew the page or saw the page other than him and I guess myself. You need a piece of paper? Yeah, I don't have any, but I will inspect whatever they...
One page.
Take one page out. This is from a notebook. Listen, I've never seen this book. This page is blank. There's no markings on it. So how much time do you need now?
What time last hour?
After 30,
It's 30 minutes.
Whole 30 minutes, not now.
Okay.
Beginning to end, 30.
Why do you have to write it down? Why on paper? Why can't you say it? Why can't you say it?
Divine power and rule and regulation.
But if you know it,
No permit. Not permit by the divine. You should sit down here and write. Not
can you type it on a phone?
You will write down here, in
But
this page, whole page.
Can you type it?
Type गर्न सक्छु?
Type on the phone.
I want no.
Can you write it on the wall?
No.
Can you? At this point, I actually, rewatching this, feel kind of bad that I was interrupting him. One thing I hate is when I'm trying to consolidate information is being interrupted. I have to focus. I don't know what I was thinking here. I'm maybe purposefully trying to throw him off a little bit, but he clearly is focusing on something and working through some information in his head. So I shouldn't have been interrupting here.
He will do in front of you. He will do in front of you. Not on the table, not you sit down and write down.
So yeah, I'm being a bit obnoxious here. But what bothers me is he, in all his demonstrations, he's writing out the answer on paper. Why? Why can't, if you know it, you know it. So say it. You can, paint it with a brush on the wall. You could type it in a text message to someone. You could say it out loud. So why does it have to be written? And his answer, I forget if it's here or later, is basically, this is the way that the God is giving him the information. That's it. Okay.
Left foot.
किताब boxes ना Give one book.
Down?
Okay, that's fine. You can use this. He's going to write on the back of this. Again, this has no correlation to the book that I... So at this point, he's literally writing out, apparently, the page that I had him memorize, word for word. And I could see that he was a little uncomfortable with me filming him, with everybody watching. I think in a lot of his demonstrations, he does it off to the side. And that's a little suspect, but I appreciated that he let me film this and kind of hover over him. But what was interesting, he would not let me, in the middle, take the paper and examine it. I could see out of the corner of my eye that he was writing actual words, and there was no modification made anywhere from this point until he gives it to me. It's what he's writing. Okay. His explanation later for this is that the process wasn't complete. It's a divine power and divine process, so it needs to be completed. It's God's word going through him. So to share the incomplete message or have me intervene is not allowed. So let's fast forward a little bit here. It's just him writing. Again, if you want to see the details, you can watch the full version in the description. So at this point, his demeanor's changed a little bit. He's gotten a little more stressed, a little more serious. He's written a lot down. I'd say 3/4 of the entire text. I don't know for sure because I can't read it yet. But at this point, he's clearly trying to get something out of him that he's forgotten or that's not as well memorized. But suddenly, after all this talk, for the last number of minutes, he wants me to move to the other part of the room and for me to not film him and to not look. I don't like that, right? Obviously, the whole point of this is to show as clear as possible what is happening. I didn't really have much of a choice. You can see I tried to kind of keep the camera on him. I could still see him out of my peripheral vision, I'll tell you that much. He did not touch anything. He did not access anything. He was where he was, sitting in his yoga pose with his hands like this, sometimes waving them crazy in the air and doing this gibberish, talking in tongues thing. What I would guess is that, he really believes this is some divine power and that this process is God speaking to him. I'm not comfortable with that, but again, I'm not a religious person, so I could understand how someone from a very religious part of the world might really interpret, in the same way that I forget something and then suddenly it comes to me. I just say, hey, my brain started working, or I just remembered it. That's the way it is. But maybe someone might interpret that as God speaking to me the answer, right? It came from somewhere, but maybe it came from high above, right? I don't believe it again, but I could see how somebody who's very devout and religious and who thinks they have a special gift like this from God could think that, right? Maybe. I'm really giving him the benefit of the doubt here. But I will say, aside from us having to look away, I can confirm that nothing was, he didn't reach for the book. I could see the book the whole time. There was no other way he was getting that information from anywhere other than the gibberish that he was saying. But this goes on a long time. I'm going to speed it up, but it went on for like 30, 40 minutes, which begs the question, okay, how practical is this in reality, right? To memorize something. Suddenly he freaks out. I guess it's kind of equivalent to, oh, I got it. I found the thing I've been trying to remember. And he's asking me for something to write on. He still had the paper and the pen, but I guess he wanted a surface to write on, which I had taken that book away from him. So at this point, he's done, right? I have the book. He has the writing that he wrote. And I try my best to show the part of the book that he recalled. I don't quite follow along because, as you'll notice, his English is not great, so I can't quite follow exactly what he's reading. And it's not exactly perfect.
Okay, with a bottle in which hand when it filled, the mountain chief underneath him, the wild rock propping of the downhill, tide of the tent washing, clarifying the tent reed looks some, it is the Astra can wheel down the mountain for the second time, what they what the reed in first in hall, and it cheese throw in oxygen bottle spread outdoor upon the routing about 100 feet. The retained push on a brother height cooled here a bottle of yelping the exploding as the pink spunks down the north face extra himself out his wash bound of an whoozy brush again but not surely or this painful back of the field found another tent managed himself up to a fresh bottle of oxygen around 8 milli. The wind feet of any begins to know by 3 p.m. It was district to 50 minutes for hours extra put here by Olupi 10 repeat loads or healthy down the mountain ye keeping safe you are radio with his climb dynamic sharp to see how making out the everyone ability now dear over down even moving came he was told had been the last person to meet that from the north side the said they have been a thought about it but pumping they would do it yet be need other terms struggle to come extra yeah people morning in crying and in English Russia China India and the sharp one woman and particular ranking historically they show in where it is done short though I am going to slicing the woman quite extra cooked out city light tissue is way for a manage it is go all over again around 4 p.m. is his first direct each stage Fatogam Jane in Megapolis official from the UK Summit talk about the possibility fly run out of oxygen and he is the recent he have first be back see after the surmounting to end step appending to economy it is the Iro Mozart account of.
Okay, so let's pause there. Was that impressive to you? Maybe you couldn't really tell. I have the same book. He gave me the sheet that he recalled on. So what I might do is actually provide a scan of both, right? So that'll be in the description. So you can compare the actual printed page and the actual written page by Bijay himself, okay? And you tell me, or you decide for yourself if you think that is impressive. To look at something by reading it one time through, like he did, then take, 30 to 45 minutes to pull it out of your brain and write it out, and then have something that's not 100%, but I'd say I personally was impressed, but you can decide for yourself. But what I'll tell you is, and I made this comment to a few other memory people that I've talked to, is if we're talking about you look at something, memorize it, and then regurgitate it, let's measure the time to do that. I could have done this faster. I wouldn't have been able to memorize it as fast as him. I couldn't have done it in one reading like that. And I wouldn't have been able to say it out loud while memorizing. I would have had to use my memory palace, go through it a bunch of times, but maybe within 15 minutes, I could memorize it, maybe 20 minutes. Then to recall it would be instant, right? I would just start writing it down. And yeah, sure, there'd be parts that I maybe miss or need to think of longer to remember, but I'd be done, total maybe in 30 to 40 minutes, right? Here, he took 5 minutes to read the page, maybe less, and then 45 or longer minutes to recall it and write it down. So what are we talking about here, right? Is it practicality of these techniques? In which case, this isn't very practical at all. When are you going to be able to look at something fast and then have all the time in the world to write it out like this? And it's not even clear to me that now that he's gotten it out, what if you have to do it again? Is it a whole 45-minute process again? Or, is it now on top of mind? And I think the answer is it's not. He'd have to use the whole process again. So how's that even good for, studying for a class or learning something new, Whereas on my side, I memorized it slower, but recalled it faster, and it's with me as long as I want. If I review it more, I'll keep it forever, right? So there's that. 1 second. just so you guys know, here is the book, the third poll. I didn't have the cover on it. I actually left that out, but this is the exact same book, page 369. I have it marked here with BJ's paper himself. So I will scan this, put it in the descriptions, and again, here's the front page, here's the back page. You can decide what you think of it.
Sir.
Very nice.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
nice.
Thank you, sir.
So, wow. Let's talk a little bit. Can I see that? Am I allowed to look?
Yes, sir.
Can I keep? As a souvenir.
Divine power.
I put it on the wall. Now, this was interesting. I really wanted to keep the paper, just obviously so that I can examine it later and really go through it. But I always found it interesting that he had to almost bless it, right? He said something in his gibberish speaking in tongues thing. I think he really believes, right, that this is a divine power. I can't take that belief away from him. And to give me that piece of paper probably was against most things that he believes through this power. So I really appreciated that he gave it to me in good faith. But it was interesting to see him kind of say this quick little whatever that was. If that's legit or an act, I don't know. Anyways, so the next part of this video is about a 30-minute stretch of purely interview questions. I apologize that there's some translation issues. He doesn't speak very good English, so he may not have understood me in certain points, but I tried my best, and I'm not going to interject anymore in this video. You guys can just watch this and make what you want of it. There were a lot of answers that come up that did not sit well with me. I didn't really go into it. I didn't want to be debating or combatant. I just kind of let him say his answers and moved on. But again, please understand that there was a lot that I did not like about this next part, that did not satisfy me, that I thought were BS, but I just kind of wanted to get on with the interview and let him speak his words. Ultimately, you judge for yourself. Here we go. One time. Close the book, and then here it is, right?
Yes.
On the other hand, it's a long time.
Divine power, huge rule.
But not very practical.
Delay permission.
Because for me, I think I could do the same thing, maybe faster, with just techniques, no divine power. You understand?
Book my divine power. Books. Your technique.
Yeah.
This is technique, divine power.
It will give divine power.
But I don't need, so here's the difference.
Book you can read.
No offense. I am an atheist. You know what that means? I don't believe in God. No God. Me. So when I see you do that, I don't understand. You know? It doesn't make sense to me.
Sir, I am very practice.
Yeah.
Practice very hard, sir.
Now, calm down. So you wrote maybe up to here, right? And then you stopped and you said, is that to help you remember?
Remember.
What you miss?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And then.
And technique.
Yeah, with the technique. But the divine power brings you the rest. And then you remember it and you write it all down. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. So, can you...
Sir, I want your help to prove to the old about my skills, sir.
Yeah, I make this video to make it as people can decide.
Yes.
I know that there was a moment where I was not allowed to look, but there's nothing else in this room. So, and there's no way he would have accessed this book before. So, you guys make the call. I'm convinced that it's a mixture of what I do and some inner belief that he has this power, which I do too, but not divine. Let me ask you, do you only do books? Only books? Memory? Can you do numbers?
Yes.
Cards?
Sharp old.
So,
एकछिन पाउनु भन्नु त एकछिन माइन्ड फ्रेस पर्छ मैले भन्नु
can you do cards?
टास्क
But let me ask you, what page was the number?
269
269. Okay. What was the last word?
of
Yeah. The first word?
with
Okay. Can you say the first word of the third paragraph?
त्यो चाहिँ फेरि भुटुटु गर्नुपर्छ ओभर फेरि
You have to go through it all
Yeah.
over. Okay.
Recollect it.
Now, can you wrote it down, but can you say it? Say it.
मुखले
Yeah.
मुखले भन्दै
The first two sentences.
लेख्ने राइटिङ
Why?
because this year divine power and need to follow what God said. Sure, really.
But if he tells you to write,
Right,
can't you say as you write?
say divine power, but divine power not follow,
It's not allowed.
not allowed.
Interesting. Okay.
यो तास हजुर के अरे हजुर यो तास रिट के भन्छु नि के अरे उहाँले तास सक्नुहुन्छ क्या उहाँले के भन्ने
What did you say?
You are going to.
उहाँ हजुरले तास मेमोराइज गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ भनेको क्या भन्नु
Do you know memorize of playing card?
Me. Yeah. Yeah.
युट्युब यो एकछिन है यु लुक के अरे द युट्युब च्यानल सो
Yeah. Oh, you see. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the memory competition,
ओ या
we do this very fast.
See.
This is also demo. Come on,
No.
give us.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've seen it. I can do it for you, but can you do this the same but with cards?
फरक डिफरेन्ट
You cannot do it. No. No.
No.
But
के
why?
भन्नु उहाँले के भन्नुभयो
Because if you can read English.
यो
No, hold on. If you can read English, you can read Chinese, Nepalese, and memorize the book.
Yeah.
So why not a card, a number, and a suit?
No. Chinese yes.
It's the same. Chinese is very hard. Chinese doesn't make sense. It's another language. This is like another language.
Yes, he can read. The 5, 6, 7 भन्ने त्यो त याद गर्न सक्छ नि त
Chinese भाषा
दुई पटक अहिले सुन्न
कार्ड किन नसक्ने भने
दुई पटक नगर मैले हैन
हाँ?
अहिले गर्नु र चाइनिज चाइनिज
नाइले चाइनिज गर्ने भने
Chinese गर्ने भने
Can you do Arabic?
होइन
Arabic?
के भन्नु
अरब
German?
जर्मन
French.
फ्रान्स
Russian. No?
You could not your pronunciation
No, I think.
But you memorize what you see. Yeah?
Memorize.
The symbols.
yes.
These are letters, words.
Oh, yes.
In Chinese, maybe you don't understand, but you see the symbols. You memorize those. You can do that?
हेरेर याद गर्न सकिन्छ चाइनिजहरु जर्मनहरु यस्तो
To practice not with practice
So only Nepalese, English.
Nepali English
Okay. And can you try? Try to memorize. Try. 6 cards.
मैले यसमा
ल्याउँ
गरेछ छैन भन्नु न यो के प्र्याक्टिस
You never practiced before? What is
I know, he's never practiced
यो
it before.
बन्द गर्नु अनि गरौँ न यो थाहा भएन क्लोज अनि गरौँ थाहा भएन भन्नु न क्लोज गरौँ अनि त्यसै गरौँ
Then
भन्नु
ठिकै छ you practice it before.
I think you misunderstand because
म यो गर्दा
I don't want to embarrass you. This is to show people that you're human. That is good. People believe you more, I think, if they know that you can't memorize everything. So I want to know, I believe you have a power. I think that's incredible. But I want to see how it translates to other things. Numbers, cards, pictures. Is it good? Is it bad? Do you understand? No.
not allowed divine power
So, okay. Okay. But then,
That's all. He couldn't understand whatever you are telling.
yeah.
Just once teach you him, then he will try.
Okay.
First teach him how to do this.
Okay. I will. One more thing. Numbers. Can you do numbers?
1, 2, 3, 4.
How big?
Yeah.
Big one?
1,000, 2,000,
So if I write, can I write? Yeah.
के लेख्ने फेरि
नम्बर लेखेको छु लामो नम्बर लेखेको छु 20-25 वटा 30 वटा लामो छ नम्बर
Can you memorize that?
एकछिन वेट म फेरि 30 minutes मेमोराइज
But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 numbers.
one word same 30 minutes memorize वा 100 words
100
same
Same
time
Okay.
same time
Okay. So, how is that useful in real life? If someone gives you a phone number, call me. Says, oh, my number 977, blah, blah, blah.
exam ma
You
easy
take 30 minutes? That's too long. You understand?
घरदेखि नै पढेर जाने अनि एक्जाममा चाहिँ लेख्ने भन्नु न
Actually, in fact, his lesson is teaching is very good in the examination. Who is
You have a lot of
examination?
big books.
Yeah, the book. You can within how many pages here?
Yeah, 300, 400, yeah.
400 something. You can do how many minutes?
15
Within 15 minutes, you will buy this book. So it is easy for examinations.
एक्जाममा चाहिँ इजी हुन्छ
Exam or also easy for the scientists of NASA.
Okay.
To assemble all the formula.
Sure, big manuals, yeah.
That is basically 100% based on, if he reads book, 100% based on divine power.
Okay.
The
Okay.
technique is same for big one or smaller one.
Okay.
You can read this whole book in 20 minutes.
As fast as you did one page.
This whole book in 20 minutes. And it will take 1.5 hours to memorize. Then you can ask him anything from this book, he can
Right,
answer.
right.
You will put here.
Yeah.
History.
Very good. Okay.
Formula is
Like
same. Formula or practice is same.
Yeah. Okay.
It takes a few time for 1, 2 number or 1, 2 books.
Yeah.
But he can do it in certain kind of.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Can I do this? Can you teach me how to do that?
के भन्नु
no.
Same as you.
यो कसै हुन्छ
Not now, but if I was your student. If I was your student.
No,
Can you
without
teach me?
permission of the goddess, he cannot.
त्यो goddess
He cannot teach the other divine theory.
उसलाई मन परेन
मन परेन
दैवीय शक्ति दैवीय शक्ति भने उसलाई मन परेन
है आई हेभ प्र्याक्टिस
Yeah.
भेरी हार्ड
Me too.
है
Yeah.
एन्ड अल्सो डिभाइन पावर
Yeah.
एन्ड अल्सो डिभाइन पावर आई मेडिटेट लङ टाइम
Okay.
1 month 14 days non-stop
Wow. Okay.
I study 18 hours per day
Yeah.
per day right? Finally I found the technique
Yeah.
and this can also be taught to others
The technique. Yeah.
if they follow
That's what I teach. I teach technique as well.
if they follow
What's the technique?
technique हो रे
कसरी
technique four step
4 steps.
4 steps first step Padmasan first step
Okay.
second step reading
3 hours.
reading
Yeah.
second step first step writing
Yeah.
3 step are convert B 4 step ma formula and technique
Yeah.
and perfect 1 minute 300 words memorize you
Got it. Okay. So my technique, if I were to do this, 269. I use a memory palace. You know memory palace? Do you know? I think of a house or office, a building, place, and I imagine pictures for each word.
Or to picture convert.
Yeah. And then I put it in the memory palace. So, with a bottle in his hands. I think of a bottle in his hands in my bedroom, in my house, in my bed. Right? And then when he felt the mountain, so I think of feeling the mountain, but I put it in my bathroom. So when I remember, I go to my bedroom, the bottle, I go to my bathroom, I feel the mountain. Is that the technique you use?
No, picture no. Different.
This is different technique.
Different technique.
Technique.
Or to convert to picture no.
Okay. So why don't you, a lot of people have questions. How do you do it? You say formula, but then you don't say the formula. So people question. They say, what is the formula? You're cheating.
Formula के हो अरे formula भन्न त मिल्दैन नि
If
I tell everyone my formula. I say it's easy
Formula
because you have
बिस्तारै
to practice.
he will teach formula now he taught how कति जनाले सिकाए how many
25.
25
formulas.
25 people already
Students.
25 student, 26 formula.
Okay.
भए पनि मन्त्र भए पनि सिकाउन सकिन्छ भन्दिन न.
The formulas come from divine power, or you make them. They come to you from.
25 जनाले डिभाइन पावरमा भएको हो त
Divine power only one me.
You were special.
yes
सिकाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ अब फर्मुला.
So your student, she has no divine power.
Divine power no.
Only technique.
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 Yes.
Formula. Yes.
टेक्निकले उहाँले 1 मिनेटमा लगभग 100-200 वर्ड्स सक्नुहुन्छ भन्दिन न.
So
They
me,
can,
no
they can
divine power.
memorize 200 words within
1 minute.
1 minute.
Can I test her?
This student.
Can I test her?
त्यसलाई गर्न सक्ने.
ए उहाँ गइसक्नु भयो.
Because I practice words in 1 minute. 15 years, almost.
15 वर्ष काम गरेको
1 minute, me.
I practiced 2 years.
Yeah. So I practice a lot. My best is in 1 minute I can do maybe let's see, maybe 60, 70 words.
1 minute.
Yeah. The best in the world, the memory champion, world memory champion, maybe can do 80. That's the best. And you say you could do 200, 300?
कति एक मिनेट कति
म
200 कति
In 1 minute, how many?
1 minute त्यस्तै 150.
150. That's amazing. That's double the best. And nobody else in the world but you can do that. I haven't seen it.
Can sponsor me Guinness World Record?
excuse me at my home when there was huge outcry because of the so many things
Yeah.
then our Bharat son he managed to meet him. I call him, you do in my room.
Yeah.
People say you are fake, so you should do before me. I gave 150 words.
Yeah.
He did
167 words.
पछि कुरा first I did, he passed. Then I call him
Yeah.
and former IGP Ramesh Chan and the former ambassador of America Dr. Suresh Charise, his wife Dr. Mrs. Charise, Dr. We four examining him. By the time
Yes, 167 words in 38 seconds. He memorized.
memorized
Yes.
twice 10. That is why I supported him.
So many people.
So I otherwise I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't believe. Without doing, who will believe?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? One question.
Okay.
You know when they found the papers behind, the press conference? They found the paper under the desk, and a lot of people said you were fake.
And
You remember?
Today,
No, last year.
last year there was,
They find the
Reporters Club
Yes,
there
So-
was conspiracy.
Why did they find that?
फसाए भन्नु त षड्यन्त्र गरे
There was conspiracy.
Oh, you think they put it there?
Their Indian agent,
Okay.
Indian was the number one memory king. So he defeated. That was that Gyan, They managed to make him fake.
That
That's
was
why they
harassment actually.
cheated wrong time.
That was harassment on
Harassment of
Oh, they
harassment. Because
framed you.
No,
Yeah.
he's from far western regions and very difficult area.
Very
He's-
remote area of
He's
Nepal.
remote area and very poor person. So everybody is just harassing him. That is why I call him. He managed. First I examine thoroughly. Okay. Then IGP, Institute Journal, Ramesh Chan,
Yeah.
and Private Secretary of
Nepal
Chan,
Police, Chief of Nepal Police.
Nepal Police. I called at my home. Home. We examined thoroughly. And we also, that all the document we sent to Guinness office also.
Yeah.
They didn't reply, I don't know. He can do, he has power with the blessing of Goddess, Kali.
Okay.
Ma. So he can, he did, 1200 page, 12 Nepali, 1200 page, 12 months, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Memorize, and he replied.
In my domain, consultation, it depends on, you see, the different kind of distraction disturb him. Otherwise, if peaceful, calm and a peaceful place, he can memorize whole book in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir. He
Thank
did
you.
it in front of us.
Yeah.
He did in front of us.
I get it.
He didn't go outside the room.
I know. That was good.
म उता
You
गएन
stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Nepali people doubt me
Yeah.
because I go into
Of course.
room to memorize.
Me too. Yeah. A question.
Memorize.
Why?
What this is divine powers. And need flow what God say.
He need consultation to memorize. So he used to go outside the room at the time.
To concentrate.
आज यही
The problem.
So it take time because of distraction. We all are here, camera is here,
Yeah. It's harder.
noise in outside.
More distraction.
So it take time.
We searched all the things on body also.
Yeah. I saw you move.
By the time they blame, he brought that paper from house.
Yeah.
Written already. This is nonsense.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I would love to bring you to the USA. I will say, if people have a hard time believing that divine power.
They don't believe?
Yes, but they want. I think a lot of people are going to ask questions. It's difficult for people to accept. Do you understand?
Divine power
One thing.
विश्वास गर्दैन त्यही भएर उनीहरूले चाहिँ सोधेको क्वेसनको तुरन्तै जवाफ चाहियो उनीहरूलाई यो सबै यताउता गरेको उनीहरूले विश्वास गर्दैन टक उनीहरूले सोध्ने बित्तिकै जवाफ दिन्छ
म यो घटाउने तयारीमा छु पनि भन्नु न
I'm not saying I'm not.
trying.
Yeah.
He's trying not to show the divine power. He's just teach people tactics, how
Yeah.
technique.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
I want to tell you.
Do you know why you have divine power? Why you?
Because.
Why not him?
No, excuse me. I discussed with my guru. I talked. So last life, before birth, he was a very good person. He distributed and he did welfare to the people.
So the reincarnation.
That is why deposit money, deposit work, contributions. So he got this one. Otherwise, it depends on the contribution, past life. That is why he got. This is the reason.
He earned it. Yeah. Let me ask you, what do you want in life?
Okay.
What do you want to do with this gift?
जिन्दगीमा म अब नेपाली बोल्छु हजुर इ बुक गरिदिनु है ट्रान्सलेट म नेपाली बोल्छु हजुर इ
हुन्छ
जिन्दगीमा इतिहासमा नाम राख्न चाहेको छु
That means you want to establish his name in the history.
You want
र
to do
आफूभित्र
something for
भएको
the people.
आफूभित्र भएको क्षमता बाँड्न चाहन्छु
What did you say?
You want to do something for the people, for the nation, and for the whole world.
Okay.
You want to contribute something from his side in his life.
Do you want to give this knowledge to people?
Knowledge to all.
Yes.
Knowledge to all, to revolution, to change the transformation of our education systems in the whole world.
Yeah.
That's it.
Teach me English.
Okay.
That is why his basic goal is to change the education systems.
Okay.
Because it takes to read 1 year also, 10 years also you can buy it.
Yeah.
But within the
you can
10
do
minutes
it
you can
in
do.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
One book in 15
Yeah.
minutes.
No, the power is it would
It's
help a lot
magic.
of children,
Yes.
school.
Yes, you want to teach.
You want to contribute for the people, for the humanity.
No.
But you in no success in Nepal
Sorry.
is
Pardon?
have you been successful in Nepal?
No, just waiting. This is nowadays because of the COVID-19.
Yeah.
Not allowed to
He is in
go.
primary phase. He Guinness record भयो
च्याम्पियन भयो हो
He has a
च्याम्पियन
Guinness record for के भयो
च्याम्पियनको चाहिँ म राखेँ
Champion.
Memory.
च्याम्पियन बुक अफ द ओल्ड रेकर्ड द लङ्गेस्ट सिक्वेन्स अफ अब्जेक्ट मेमोराइज
But that's it's
Yes.
not a validated.
इन 1 minute is 70 words
Yeah, but that's not a.
राखिसकेको भन्नु न
That record book is not prestigious. It's not Guinness Book of World Records. Guinness Book of World Records, that book here, right? So people,
He already set Guinness record.
but not officially.
Already, officially.
Where? You
Yes.
have the certificate?
एपले चाहिँ भएको छ एपले हो
Apply that.
सर्टिफिकेट होइन च्याम्पियन बुक अफ द ओल्ड रेकर्ड सर्टिफिकेट गिनिस ओल्ड रेकर्ड एप्लाई
Apply.
Applied. Okay.
We examine.
When do you do it?
त्यहाँबाट केही आएन रेस्पोन्स भन्नु न
I don't know.
कहिले गरे हो
You don't know yet.
2 months or something.
3 month
But you applied.
एप्लाई
Okay.
3 months before he just applied for Guinness record.
सर्टिफिकेट आएन
Okay. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time to get the application.
भन्नु न सर्टिफिकेट आएको छ
So what's the record? The number of words in 1 minute?
कति 150 होइन
150 वटा 38 सेकेन्ड
150
38 second, 167 word.
So that's the Guinness record he's trying to set
yes
in 30
He
seconds.
already applied for that.
I see.
initial I was a judge you are judge inspector general of police Ramesh you are judge former ambassador of America
Yeah.
Dr. Suresh Chalise the wife Dr. Milind Chalise we 4 were the judge
Okay.
so we finalized first I examined thoroughly then I invited this all then we compile documents and all the documents we send for Guinness Book but we are not getting
सर्टिफिकेट नट अब फेरि एप्लाई
Got it.
सर्टिफिकेट आएन
Maybe-
क्यान्सल भयो
भनिसक्यो उसले।
It takes time.
भन्नु न नि। के दियो?
सर सर
ए?
We got bell bats?
सर
पहिला।
मलाई खानु
मासु खानु न हजुर खानु मासु
हजुर खाइछन्
हामीलाई चाहिँ
So I think we can, one moment, we'll maybe finish filming. But
म खान्न के
thank you.
वेलकम सर
Thank you so much.
म खान्न फलको चाहिँ देखाउँदा म खान्न म खान्न
Thank
पानी 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 चाहियो वाटर
वाटर पानी
Chisupani.
so his mission is very good
Yeah.
you want to this is poor country Nepal
Yeah.
so you want to revolutionize change the transformation from this illiteracy to literacy
Yeah.
change the rate of the educations number 1 Nepal should be number 1 is
गिनिस ओल्ड
then
रेकर्डमा हामीले
you will go
एप्लाई
to
गरेर
everywhere in
त्यहाँबाट एउटा
to teach.
पुगेन अरे
But the power-
क्यान्सल भइसक्यो
त्यो टाइम लाग्छ।
होइन क्यान्सल भइसकेर एउटा यो सर्टिफिकेट आइसक्यो यो त्यो भन्नु अब फेरि हामी गर्छौँ एप्लाई भन्नु न क्यान्सल भएको छ
Quick question. If I wrote,
किन भन्ने कुरा
if I wrote 167 words and gave it to you, how long to memorize?
त्यही अघि कति टाइम लाग्यो त्यो भन्नु ल
the procedure is the same Postulated is the same.
Same.
So 30
same time.
seconds to look, but then for 30 minutes.
Yeah. लगभग 1 hour.
Okay.
Same.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, here you have Bijay Shahi. Judge for yourself. I have a lot of questions. I'm very intrigued, very impressed. I think there's a lot we can learn from him, and maybe give him a shot to explain himself a little more. I think I need to analyze this a little more, but I'm very happy that you met with me, and
Thank you, sir.
He's been very kind. Nothing here felt fake. Some things were a little out of the ordinary that I'm not used to, but that's a different culture for me. So thank you for watching, and hopefully we can maybe bring you to the United States and try to show you to the world. I'd love to try to help you.
Okay, you should get permission from
अनि त्यो नभन्नु के भन्नु उहाँले
अमेरिका जाने हो भने
यस अमेरिका
Yeah.
he is interested to visit America.
Yeah.
यस सो नेपाली पिपुल डाउट
Yeah. You have to learn more English. too,
इंग्लिश
From him.
टिच मी
Yeah.
1 month भित्रमा सिक्छु भन्नु त
Within 1 month you can improve.
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, with the memory.
Okay. Okay.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So there you have it. What do you think? Please let me know what you think in the description. Now listen, be fair. I understand that there have been a lot of presentations by him that have been questionable, and I still don't know if I believe them. I wasn't there. They look very suspect. But what I can say is what he did for me here, I believe in. Okay? Now, I've seen people do things like this before that are legit. So it wasn't crazy impressive, right? Other than he looked at it once by talking through the page once. I think that's very difficult to do. And then he didn't see it any more than that, but an hour later he had it all written down. There were some weird things happening in the room, but not things that were going to lead me to question the validity of his actual test there. Do I really believe the religious thing? No. Do I believe that he believes it? Sure. Does he have a gift? I think so, to some extent, right? Is it what I saw in other videos? Maybe not quite. Again, I didn't test him with a full book, right? Like in the other videos, so I can't say to that. I was a bit let down that he wouldn't even attempt to memorize a deck of cards or numbers for that matter. Like, what's the difference, right? If you have a book with, especially in a foreign language that you don't really speak, which is a bunch of just random symbols, words in English, why can't you do that with cards, right? If I lay them out in order, why can't you do that with numbers? His excuse was that he had never practiced it, or that the divine power doesn't work like that. How convenient, right? What can I say to that other than, okay, I guess you're not doing that today, right? Again, all I can say is what I saw. And personally, I was there. If you want to believe me, 4-time memory champ who knows this world, who's, I'd say a logical person, reasonable, very methodical in how he thinks and processes things. If you want to believe me for what I saw and what I experienced and what I tried to control as best as possible in that room, then you have to admit that he has some skill. He's not a phony, or at least completely phony. I think he does have something. I would have liked to see more, and maybe I'll get a chance to really test him on bigger things, like a book, like he says he can. But yeah, I almost walked away with this not really knowing what to think anymore, other than I saw what I saw, and that was legit. Beyond that, I can't really say, but I would say that maybe people are being a bit harsh on him, and to maybe give him a chance. I will admit that I think he hasn't gone about exposing himself in the right way, and that there would have been better ways to help make his reception a little easier. Let's say it like that. And with regards to the event where he was proven to be fake, I could believe this too. He was saying that people are out to get him, people don't like his sudden fame, and people are out to discredit him. I get that. There are people all around the world who will try to undermine you, especially for things that they don't understand, right? Like memory abilities like this. Nobody's done that to me, but again, I'm not claiming to have divine powers. I'm not claiming to do really incredible things like he can. I can do kind of cool things, but they're not like beyond the realm of thought, right? Some of his stuff kind of is. So I can see how people would want to take that away from him. Not to say that they did, but I could understand that. And he was saying that the papers that they found with the indentations on them were planted. We'll never know, right? But there it is. This is the interview with Bijay Shahi. Listen, he was very nice, very welcoming. You wouldn't expect that from someone who's a fraud, who is not wanting to be exposed. He was more than happy to welcome me in, very friendly, very excited to meet me, even after I made those 2 videos where I kind of talked a bit of smack about him. So, he's a young kid, and I think if he plays it right, he could have a good future in teaching others how to improve their memory. I just think he needs to be a little more open with how he does things, because I walked away with this still not knowing what his techniques are, unfortunately. And we tried to kind of share like some memory palace thing, and he didn't really know what I was talking about. But again, it could have been lost in translation. Anyways, I'll let you guys decide. Thanks for watching. I know I've been teasing this video for a long time, so I appreciate you letting me make a longer video for this channel, and it'll be back to more fun, lighthearted stuff in the next video. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. I am out.